take a look at what's grabbing headlines here in France, and a lot of focus on a gender theory scare at French schools. And Florence is here to tell us all about that.
That's right, Karen. Let's take a look at Libération, which talks about this war at school about gender theory. Now, what is this all about? Well, Libération explains just what's going on. The French government is fighting to break a boycott at about 100 primary schools across the country. And the origin of this boycott are rumors about a school program. The school program is called ABCD of Equality. It's promoting equality between the sexes, and it's a new program that's being tried out in several parts of the country. But according to Libération, right-wing groups have started a rumor online that this program actually teaches gender theory. Gender theory, it's a very bad word in France. I'll tell you more about it. But gender theory is basically this theory that the difference between the different sexes is not only biological, it's also socially constructed. But it's important to note that unlike in many Anglo-Saxon countries, gender theory isn't really taught here in France, and a lot of people don't believe in it. And in fact, as I was saying, it's a gender theory, or la théorie des genres, as it's called in French, is kind of a big bad word. And so a lot of French people talk about gender theorie, so kind of an Anglophone way of saying gender theory.
Okay, that sounds fascinating. Le Figaro also takes a look at what's at the root of the scandal.
That's right. Now, Le Figaro says that a lot of parents are really pointing their finger at various books and films that are part of this school program, the ABCD of Equality. For instance, a film called Tomboy, about a tomboy, or a book called Daddy Wears a Dress, about a father who has to wear a dress at one point. And so according to these rumors, this program is encouraging boys to wear dresses. It's encouraging kids to choose their sexuality. It's teaching them about masturbation. So this rumor that was started online has really spread like wildfire, especially among Catholics and Muslims, and they're the ones who are really pulling their kids out of class.
And the government's drawing a lot of criticism for the way it's dealing with the scandal as well.
That's right. First of all, from the left, Libération says the government should have really cleared things up very quickly, and instead it's dealing with this boycott in a very awkward way. This is the editorial of Libération that points out that the government is kind of fanning the flames of the debate. For instance, the education minister, Vincent Payon, responded to this whole thing by saying, "I refuse gender theory," so he wasn't really clearing things up. Atlantico says that the government hasn't really set the stage for the debate the right way and has thus opened up Pandora's box for extremist parties, because by promoting equality between the sexes, Atlantico says that the government is actually suggesting there is no difference between men and women. The debate that was supposed to be about equality before the law has become one about equality in nature, and Atlantico says there are differences between men and women. So all this is very confusing to people and causes people to have these knee-jerk reactions.
And the right-leaning Le Figaro is also critical of the government, but for different reasons.
That's right. Le Figaro says that the government is caught in the gender theory trap that's on the front page today. And in its editorial, Le Figaro says that basically the government is trying to impose an ideology on people. And Le Figaro really doesn't believe in this intellectual hypothesis that is gender theory. It says that this is an ideology that really touches on our identity, what defines us as human beings, and it wonders why the government is wasting time with the gender theory when it should really be focusing on the economy and safety, etc.
Okay, but something a little bit different now. The French press is also focused on President Francois Hollande, who will be meeting British Prime Minister David Cameron later today.
That's right. Le Figaro says this is a meeting that's going to take place amid a lot of French bashing recently, including in the UK. Now, this article points out that Cameron has never really hidden his criticism of François Hollande's socialist government, especially his tax policies. Back in the day, he even said he'd roll out the red carpet for anybody who was trying to flee French taxes. So a lot of the French press is focusing on the fact that the entente cordiale between France and Britain isn't so cordial these days.
And finally, Le Monde investigates a growing phenomenon in France, and that's boomerang kids.
That's
what
right.
are they?
Boomerang kids are people who have, at one point, go back and live with their parents. I must admit, I'm guilty of that. Well, I've been guilty of that at one point. But this is a growing phenomenon in France, especially because of the crisis. And it's not only touching people in their 20s and their 30s, but also people in their 40s and their 50s. So check out this cartoon. You can see some elderly parents sitting at the dinner table waiting for their middle-aged son to come home. And the mother there is saying, "Is this what time you come home?" But she's actually saying, "Is this what age you come home?" So Le Monde says that this return to the family cocoon isn't always so easy for the parents or for the kids.
Okay, Florence, thank you very much for that. Very entertaining and very enlightening review there of the press. Thank you. More news coming up in a few minutes, and also in focus, we'll be looking at French and British leaders who are meeting today to discuss the controversial shale gas exploring technique known as fracking. Stay with us for that.